Jared Craig with the Vet Voice on behalf of Veterans for America First, and I have the pleasure of interviewing Ant Thornton, who is the candidate for Lieutenant Governor in the state of New Mexico. Veterans for America First has endorsed this conservative Republican candidate, and we think that he's got a great chance of winning. And what would you like to share with the people who don't know about you, what your platforms are, what issues are the most important for your campaign?
Well, thank you for having me. First of all, I guess the main thing is a lot of people don't know me. I'm not a politician. I'm a retired aerospace engineer. I retired from Sandia National Laboratories. I've got a PhD in aerospace engineering. I got my master's from Stanford, my bachelor's at University of Colorado, and my PhD from Purdue University. I got involved in the race primarily because I was fed up with the decisions that was being made in Santa Fe over the last several years that I've been living here in New Mexico, and decided to get involved more directly by putting my name in the hat. And we've been fortunate enough to capture the attention of many of the people across New Mexico, and here we are now in the general election with less than 12. I guess we're 12 days away from hopefully turning New Mexico around and taking the state back. You asked about some of the key issues that we're focused on. I guess there's really three. One is border security. New Mexico is a border state, as you know, and we have about a 180-mile border with New Mexico, and currently the current administration has done absolutely nothing to shut down that border. And as a result of that, because I come from the national security perspective, we're seeing huge increases in drug trafficking, human trafficking, basically flooding in through New Mexico from Mexico. And the proof of that recently is I spoke to a sheriff up in northwest New Mexico who told me that just over the last 2 quarters, they've had a 16-fold increase in fentanyl seizures. So that's what they've actually captured. And clearly, they're using New Mexico as the funneling agent to get drugs throughout the rest of the United States.
It's outrageous how much fentanyl is coming across the southern border. I saw the number was something around 3 million people that have come across just in this year so far, which is breaking all kinds of records. And you hit the nail on the head when you were talking about how much was seized. I'm not sure the calculation that you have as to how much you can gauge how much was not seized.
Exactly. So we're not sure what we're not capturing, but I can tell you we had the biggest fentanyl bust in Albuquerque, probably in the history of New Mexico. I think there were over a million pills that they captured just a few weeks ago. And so it's clearly the cartels are using Albuquerque as a central location because we have a governor that's not doing anything to secure our border. The other issue that is important for us is education. And New Mexico currently ranks 51st in the nation in education. And that's as a result of the current administration. Our public education department just came out with their own statistics, and they basically said that 2/3 of our kids cannot read at grade level. And that's 2 out of 3. And 3/4, 75% of our kids cannot do math at grade level. So right now we have an education department that is not educating our kids. And as you know, that's the sort of the key to opportunity for the rest of your life. And if we're not doing that, if we're not supporting our kids and getting them educated properly, we're going to basically leave them in a state of dependency for the rest of their life. New Mexico is ranked last in the nation right now, behind the District of Columbia, as a matter of fact. So we're 51st. We can't get any lower. And that's under the current administration's watch. And I think people are sort of fed up with that. And probably the last thing that's most important is what I call energy surety. So I come from a nuclear weapons background, and we use the word surety to stand for safety, security, and reliability in terms of the nuclear stockpile. Well, we need to do the same thing with education. We need to make sure our kids are safe, that the facilities, the schools are secure, and that we have to have understanding of the reliability of the education that they're receiving. And right now, we know that that's not happening. And so I'd like to improve on education surety going forward. But energy is also another issue that's important to us. We are the second highest producer of oil and gas in the country. New Mexico is. Most people don't realize that. And so given what's happening right now with inflation and the fuel prices that are gone up, we we are a big player in our national security by producing oil and gas. However, we have an administration, again, in power, who's doing their best to kill the goose that lays the golden egg for New Mexico. She's trying everything she can to shut down the oil and gas business by having an energy transition act that will basically have us, quote, carbon free by 2030 or 2040. And that's an impossibility that's never going to happen in our lifetime. We are not going to get rid of oil and gas in the short term or the long term, and it is necessary for the security of our nation.
As you know, we're Veterans for America First. Do you have any special message that you want to share with our veterans?
Well, my father was a 27-year serviceman in the Air Force. I served 7 years in the Navy Reserves, and I want to tell you that we still need to continue looking at how veterans are treated. We see that there's still a lot of homelessness going on in New Mexico. I think many of those may be veterans that we need to get off the streets and help them get back to become productive citizens. And so anything that I can do in my power as Lieutenant Governor, I will continue to do. I certainly support our military, support our law enforcement, and that's something that we need to continue to strive to do better. This state is not doing as well as it could, and it's something that we need to concentrate on going forward.
Well, I want to thank you as a non-politician jumping off the sidelines to sacrifice your time, your privacy, your sanctity and peace of mind to run for the office of Lieutenant Governor. And if people want to learn more about you and they want to learn about their candidates, donate their time and make contributions, where would they go to do that?
You could go to our website. It's called www.thenextlg.com. That's thenextlg.com. It stands for Next Lieutenant Governor. And right now I just put out on our Facebook page. Also, it's thenextlg.com. And what you can find there is we're laying out a big push for the last 12 days here. We're going to do a statewide tour with the governor, Mark Ronchetti, governor candidate. And we plan on making sure we're touching as many people as possible as we proceed forward into the election on November 8th. And so we're making one final push, and we're hitting all around the state. And let me tell you, New Mexico is a big state, and so it's I've already put over 50,000 miles on my car just since September of last year. So we're hitting it hard, and we're going to make one last push to make sure everybody knows who we are and what we plan to do for the state.
Well, there's a good reason why Veterans for America First has endorsed you because you're the right man for the job.